Hello and welcome to my backyard. So today we're going to talk about something that is super important when it comes to gardening, and that is pest control. So I try to keep an organic as possible approach when it comes to pest control. Now, that doesn't mean that everything I use is considered certified organic, but it does mean that I'm not using harsh pesticides that can hurt animals or can hurt us, or it's just not good for the plants themselves. So there's two main things that I will use in the garden. And actually last year I only used the first one I'm going to talk about. And that is a solution that I make up in my 1 gallon sprayer. This is just a 1 gallon like wand sprayer. I got this at Rural King. You can buy them in 1 gallon, 2 gallon, 5 gallon. You can get them as big as you need them, but I just bought a 1 gallon because I didn't really need anything bigger than that. I don't really have the space to need something that is much bigger than that. So what I will do is I will take some of this. This is called neem oil, and this is organic. This is organic cold pressed neem oil. I get this on Amazon. I will put a link in the description to this. I think this was around $20. This is a 16-ounce bottle, and this will last, depending on how big your garden is and how many times you apply it, this may last you all year, it may last you 2 years, it may last you 3 years. It just depends on what you have and how often you need to apply it. So I will take about, I don't know, a tablespoon or two of neem and put it in the bottom of my sprayer. And then I will take a good squirt of dish soap and add to the top. I always have just used Blue Dawn. You don't have to use Dawn. Whatever dish soap you use is fine. It just works as an emulsifier for this to make it a like well mixed solution. And then we're just gonna spray it on the plants. Now it is like 7 o'clock. As you can see back here, part of the garden is still in the light, in the sunlight. The front half is still in the sun, the back half is in the shade for the night. And I try to do things like these neem sprays in the evening after the sun is off the plants. That just keeps your leaves from burning, because neem can burn your plants if it's in the sun. This will work as like a magnifying glass on the sun. You know, it gets hot and you can like burn stuff on the sidewalk. This will work as that on your leaves of your plants. So you don't want that, obviously. You don't want to burn your plants. This will work super well to repel pests. It won't necessarily kill the pests that are there if there are pests, but this is a good repellent. So I do have some bug damage present on some of my beans. I'm not really concerned about my tomatoes yet, but I'm going to go ahead and probably spray them, give them a light spritz, just to make sure that they don't end up with any pests after the beans have this sprayed on them. So this is what I'm gonna mix up for tonight, and I'll show you how I put it on. But I wanna talk about the other pest control option that I have not actually used yet, but I know people have a lot of good luck with it, and that is diatomaceous earth. Now this is made from fossil shells. So this is just ground up fossil shells. It's a very fine powder. It reminds me of like flour or powdered sugar, like it's that milled that fine. This bag is a 4-pound bag. I got this on Amazon. I'll put the link down there. It came with this little duster thing. You just fill this up and then you like squeeze down and it squirts out. This stuff is this is food grade diatomaceous earth. You want to make sure you get the food grade. This stuff is honestly used for like, it's an anti-caking agent, is to be mixed in animal feed is what it says, the directions for use. It is an organic product. I mean, it's OMRI listed, just like this neem oil is. But you do have to be careful with using diatomaceous earth. It will burn your eyes if you get it in your eyes, which is why I kind of like this little duster thing that it came with, because you can hold it out farther than having to sprinkle it with your hands. This is better for killing pests that are currently on your plants. What it does is it basically eats through the exoskeleton of a pest, a bug. It'll kill slugs, it'll kill pretty much anything that comes in contact with it. The only downside is it will harm pollinators. So you have to be very careful with using something like diatomaceous earth. I only bought this to use on things that don't necessarily require a large pollinator presence, like squash necessarily. And if I do use it on squash, I'll make sure I keep it only on the leaves and not anywhere near the flowers or the stem where the flowers are. Another downside of using these organic pesticides is they will wash off in the rain. So we have had like 6 days in a row where it's rained at least once a day, and I haven't been able to put anything on my garden yet. Even though I've noticed my beans and my zinnias have holes in them, I haven't been able to come out and put anything on them because it's been raining. Diatomaceous earth especially will wash off with any sort of water. So you have to be very careful if you need to use diatomaceous earth to do it on a day it's not raining and it's not going to rain, and on a day that you're not necessarily going to be watering your garden immediately after applying it. Now the neem oil, it will dry on the leaves, but it won't necessarily wash off immediately, but it will wash off in a rainstorm. So let me show you how I make this concoction, and then I will show you how I spray it on my plants. So like I said, this is just a 1 gallon sprayer. It has a 1 gallon mark on the back of it. That way you know where to fill it up to. So I'm just gonna take this neem, and neem is a very weird substance. It is solid at room temperature. So if you can see down in there, I just opened this bottle up. I actually bought this last year and then didn't need it. So you open it up and it is kind of like really gross. But I'm just gonna like kind of blob some down in there. That's like a couple tablespoons. It also smells weird. To me, it kind of smells like a pile of sticks, which I know is super weird and random, but that's what I think it smells like. So I just put that much in there. That looks so gross, but there it is. And then I'm just gonna take my dish soap and I'm just gonna squirt like, I don't know, like a tablespoon in there, just like a medium-sized squirt. It doesn't need to be a lot. It's just enough to keep the get the neem in, you know, mixed in with the water. So now all I'm gonna do is take this over to the hose and fill it up to this 1 gallon line on the side. Make sure the lid's on tight and just give it a good shake. That's all you gotta do. And it'll get nice and mixed up, and then it's time to spray. So I have my sprayer all pumped up, and all I'm gonna do is just spray the leaves of my plants. And that's all. That's it. That's all you have to do. Just spray the leaves, and that will keep the bugs from being attracted to them. So I'm just gonna go through here and just kind of give everything a light spritz. I haven't necessarily had a lot of problems with pests back in this tomato area, so I'm just gonna give everything a light spritz, and then hopefully that will fend off any pests before they arrive. So that's how I do it. That's how I use my neem solution on the garden. It is not difficult. That took me literally like less than a minute to put that down. and it will help stave off any pests that I will encounter throughout the season. Now I will put this on pretty frequently, I would say. I usually don't do a set schedule when it comes to the neem. I usually just wait for signs of pests. I don't know if that's the best approach, but that's my approach. And so I will do it maybe like once a month. When it gets really lush out here and the tomatoes they've just taken off and they're covering the panels, I may do it more often because they'll have more leaves, which is more room for pests. So as things get bigger, you may need to apply more often, but this is a really good way to help prevent pests in your garden in a pretty much organic way. Now, I'm not gonna show you how to apply diatomaceous earth because I don't feel like I need any of it right now. I may put some on my bush beans after I plant some more seeds and those come up. But for now, I think the neem is going to do the trick. If not, I will use diatomaceous earth, but I am just a little bit wary of using that more than I absolutely have to. When things start to get like super holey and lacy, that's when the diatomaceous earth comes out. But for things just like one hole in a leaf, I think the neem will probably do the trick. But if not, I will cross that bridge when I come to it. So I hope this is helpful. I try not to badmouth the way other people choose to garden. I think gardening is a very individual thing, and if you are the type of person who just wants to like grab a bottle of 7 and just spray it on your plants, then so be it. That's completely up to you. I actually used to use 7 up until a couple years ago. That's what I used, and it works, but there's a reason you're supposed to wear gloves and goggles and all that when you use it. Now it is suggested that you use goggles when you use diatomaceous earth because it is so fine of a particle. You basically just don't want it in your eyes because you just don't really want to get stuff in your eyes. Like, that's not a good idea. So if you choose to use things like 7, that's totally up to you. This is just a pretty much organic way to hopefully help prevent pests in your garden. So I hope you learned something, and if you have any questions about pests or anything, please let me know in the comments. I am by no means a pest expert when it comes to gardening. I kind of just fly by the seat of my pants. But I am more than happy to help. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.